Good morning. We'll call the DRC meeting to order for May 29th, 2024. I might remind everybody this meeting is being live streamed, so if you are a applicant, please come up to the podium so we can get all the comments on the record and your questions. We'll start with roll call. Community Development, Bobby Howell is present. Police Department.
Mike McKinley, thank you.
Building.
John Hansen's here.
And Fire.
Jeremy Oliver.
And Public Services is represented by Mr. Windsor King this morning, who's in the audience. We have a walk-on special event. Lexi is here with Recreation.
Okay, so Transform Outreach is looking to bring the Juneteenth Freedom Day Parade in Apopka. This is a returning event. It'll be on Saturday, June 15th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. The actual parade will start at 2 p.m. and 12 p.m. they'll just start staging and setting up. They'll start at the VFW and end at the Billy Dean Community Center. They're expecting about 500 people. They are not hiring private security, but they will schedule off-duty. There will be no alcohol, and they're looking to close Central Avenue, 10th Street, and Marvin C. Sanders Street to 6th Street.
Right. Any questions from the DRC?
I think this is their first time doing it, isn't it? I don't think it's a repeat. They do the Martin Luther King.
It says on their 5th annual, so I'm not sure, but
I think they do the Juneteenth, but I don't think they've done a parade before. But
Okay.
regardless, what are we going to do for parking?
that was my question as well. I have it on here to ask them. I'm thinking they're probably going to use the public parking downtown, and then get permission from the VFW to use that parking as well.
And that's fine, but I'm concerned about Alonzo Williams Park. And if they have, let's say, 30 floats, where are we going to put those floats?
I don't think it's floats. I think it's just people walking. It's just a group of people.
Okay, we're going to need
Walking.
clarification on that.
Okay.
Because, again, if they have 30 floats, there is probably, if they have 15 floats, there's no parking.
Yeah, their permit doesn't say anything about that. It just says people walking and waving signs. That's all it says. But I will confirm.
Okay, because I know we're going to be part of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure the fire department's going to be part of it. So I don't think you can consider my car a float, but there's still, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we have parking and how they're going to offload these floats and where these individuals are going to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? No? Okay. We'll go around the DRC Community Development approves the event. Police.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
And Fire.
No comments.
All right. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is Chandler Road Properties Annexation First Submittal. I am the project manager. I believe the applicant's here in attendance, represented by Mr. Hewells. You received comments from the DRC. Do you have any questions for us?
Good morning, Bobby, DRC members. Jonathan Hewells with Lowndes, 215 North Eula Drive, Orlando, 32801. No comments. We'll proceed with addressing the requests from planning and police chief. I know you had some comments regarding the access points and the use of Chandler, the existing Chandler Road. We actually had a meeting conducted with planning as part of a pre-app where that was a discussion point. And the project, so just for context, the tax parcels shown highlighted here is part of an assemblage of properties that are going to be unified and developed under the Kelly Park Interchange Code is the proposal. This is the first step in that these parcels, which is just a portion of the project, need to be annexed into the city first. After that, we'll be processing a comp plan amendment and then, of course, a PD rezoning. So the DRC is going to see this project several times with more detail provided at each turn. But back to the point, initially at that pre-app, there was discussion on where the access points for this project would be. Currently proposed on a conceptual plan, it's going to have 2 access points off of Kelly Park Road that is farther east of Chandler. The existing Chandler Road is not going to be utilized as an access point for the project, and that's due in part that this project does not include the portion of existing Chandler Road that is at Kelly Park Road and continuing south for that first portion. It's going to be maintained as it is today. I know it does serve as an emergency access point to the subdivisions farther south, and it's going to continue to do that, but not play any role with a initial access points to the subdivision that's being proposed as part of this annexation.
And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure because there's a lot of misunderstanding because the county has had a road sign there since I was this tall. And it's not a road. It's like a right of way or something. And I just wanted to make sure the applicants understood that I don't even know how you can turn it into a road because we've had that discussion for developments that wanted to come in on the west side of Chandler Road and use Chandler Road as an exit and everything else. It's not a road. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that so you all didn't get way down the road and realize, we can't use Chandler Road.
Yeah, a lot's going to have to change before that existing Chandler Road can be improved to minimum standards of the city to serve as an actual access point.
Right, because I think some of it belongs to the homeowners association, doesn't it? I mean, it's a mess. I don't know why it ever had a street sign, but like I said, it has ever since I was a kid. So
Got it.
I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that so there weren't any problems going forward.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any further questions of the applicant? All right. Community Development has no further questions. Police, anything else?
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Building
I don't have anything, thanks.
and Fire.
No comments.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The next items on the agenda are an annexation, future land use, and a rezoning master plan for the Ondich South property, and Gene Sanchez is the project manager.
Everybody. Ondich South, the Ondich South applicant is applying for annexation, future land use amendment, as well as rezoning. The properties are located, let me see here, all the way north. It's just east adjacent of Crossroads at Kelly Park. The single family portion of it, single family detached, there we go. The future land use amendment is to change the designation from county rural to mixed use and change the zoning district from county A1 to Kelly Park interchange mixed use with transitional and neighborhood overlay districts as well. I just have a few comments on the master plan. I know there was a question about open spaces. Form-based code requires that in the transitional overlay district, 15% is required for open space, and in the neighborhood district, it's 20% that's required for open space. And I also have tentative meeting schedules for this as long as there are no significant concerns with the future land use amendment application. The future land use is a large scale since it's over 50 acres, so it'll have to go to the Department of Commerce once City Council approves the transmittal reading.
Thank you, Gene. Is the applicant in attendance?
Classen with Appian Engineering, 2221 Lee Road. No questions at all. Just appreciate staff's willingness to give us the review and the minor comments. We have no questions about them. We're just here to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant?
I probably don't need to say this to you because you've heard me say it plenty of times, but if these are rear-loaded townhomes, the alleys have to be lighted.
Yep.
And they have to face a named street.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do that. I just don't know about the lighting. And also the parking spaces off the main roads. I think we established a requirement of a certain width so that the mirrors and doors don't get knocked off the cars. I'd like to make sure we maintain that. I don't remember if it was 8 feet or what it was, but
I think the standard is 8 feet, but we can. I'll double check the code. What I think drawn in the KPI is only 7 feet, but I think we were going to provide 8. I suppose.
I think with the part of the curbing or something, it came out to 8 feet or something. I just don't want to create what they have in Orlando, where when you go down that subdivision and you look at the cars that park on the road, they're missing half their mirrors.
I'll send you an email separately and include Bobby and Gene, showing what the KPI code has, and then I'll also show what we're projecting so you can see it. Make sure that matches what you recall.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions of the applicant? All right, we'll go around community development. No questions or comments other than those that were given to the applicant. Police,
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
building,
I don't have anything, thanks.
and fire.
No comments.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. The next item on the agenda is 996 South Orange Blossom Trail Future Land Use. June Son is the project manager, and there's also a rezoning tied to this, so we'll take both of those at the same time.
Good morning. This is a rezoning and future land use amendment item for 996 and 1000 South Orange Blossom Trail. The total size of the property is about 7 acres. The applicant has requested a change of land use from residential medium and commercial to institutional public uses, and zoning from RSF 1B and CC to office. The proposed land use and zoning for expansion of the place of worship is consistent with the adjacent properties of the church.
Thank you, June. Is the applicant in attendance?
Morning, Tom Skelton, American Civil Engineering Company, 207 North Moss Road, Suite 211. We received the last comment. I believe we responded to it. We're here to answer any questions, further questions.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant? Okay, with that, we'll go around community development. Has no other questions or comments? Police,
I don't have anything. Thank you.
building,
I don't have anything, thanks.
and fire.
No comments.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is INB Homes KPI Rezoning Master Plan First Submittal. I'm the project manager on that one. Is if the applicant's in attendance. You received comments from the DRC. Is there any that you would like to discuss?
Yes, there is. First of all, for the record, John Adams, R.J. Whitman Associates, 8 Broadway, Suite 104, Kissimmee, Florida. We are the planners for the project. Clearly, most of the comments are things that we just have to clear up and relabel and restructure our tables. So that's not the concern. I do want to discuss in particularly the chief's comments and the fire department's comments. You're looking for secondary access, and we understand that. We have provided a stub out to the west for a future connection, but Chandler Road, that came up earlier, that is a private ingress-egress easement. We have no control over that whatsoever. If you want us to stub out to that, we can do that, but we can't guarantee access to it without the city becoming involved with the HOA to grant us access. Now, if that's the ultimate solution, then fine, we can stub out from our commercial parcel in the future. We've even provided a cul-de-sac at the southeast corner, which could be connected for an emergency access or whatever, but we have no control over the access to Chandler Road. So without the city becoming involved in that solution, we can't do it on our own. We have met your code requirements. We believe we've met your code requirements, which allow up to 250 units, I believe, with one access and a future stub out, which we've provided to the west. So meeting code is not always the optimum solution, but the city needs to be involved in that Chandler Road solution. That really, we can clean up everything else with staff as we go through the process. We'll respond to the comments. So we would just be looking for some direction on that Chandler Road from the city.
Well, obviously, we can't do anything with Chandler Road either because we have no earthly idea what it is. I think some sections are a right of way, some sections belong to property, another subdivision, and everything else. But this board has made it quite clear that a secondary entrance is a requirement, and this property's been through, this is probably the 5th iteration of some kind of development here on this property. And the last time it was before us, there was going to be a path through the property to the north going to Kelly Park as a second entrance. A stub out to the west without a plan of when that property is going to be developed is of no value to us from a public safety perspective. And this is a public safety issue of us being able to get into this residence or into this neighborhood if we need to. If there's an accident on Kelly Park Road at the entrance or down that road long straightaway going into it, and we have another emergency inside the subdivision, we have to be able to gain access to it. On another total tangent real quick, while I'm looking at your plans again, because I don't think I made this comment, the rear loaded with the alleys will need lighting. The
Yes,
alleys
sir.
have to be lit for public safety also.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what your solution is. We've battled this with every plan that's come here, and it is a challenge. I don't know that it's the city's problem per se. You all have to figure out how to get us access to that property.
Well, we'll work with your staff, sir. But again, I do want to point out that your code, we meet your code requirements currently with the one access point and a future stub out. And I understand the certain desire for the secondary access, but we do meet your code requirements with what we've shown on the plan.
Yeah, I believe the code, he is correct. It does require a secondary if you're under 250. I'll go back and revisit that. Do you, in your title work, has it come up as to who owns Chandler Road and who has rights to it or anything like that?
I'm going to defer to my client that was be familiar with the title work.
Hey guys, I'm Jonathan Bell with IMB Homes. Yeah, that road is owned by the homeowners association for the neighborhood that's further south, southeast, I guess, on the east side of Chandler Road. So, you know, Ashton Woods, who was just up here, was looking to build, you know, their project on that side of Chandler Road on the east side and further south. You know, we met with Ashton Woods also to see if there was some cooperation that we could do together, maybe with Chandler Road. One of the challenges we're having is up there on the east side of Chandler Road up to Kelly Park Road, there's a private owner that has that nursery right there, and they do not want to sell. They don't want to do anything, and Chandler Road is only like 15 or 20 feet wide. You know, we've had many discussions with the city staff over Chandler Road, and, you know, the requirement is for that road to be at least 50 feet wide. There's just no way for us to make that happen all the way down. We don't control the property, and that owner to the east will not sell out. So the only way to really get Chandler Road to get in compliance would be through an eminent domain or some type of process like that with the city, which city staff has said they're just not interested in it in whatsoever. What we did is we originally had this project at 350 units because the zoning allows up to 10 units per acre, and we have 35 acres. City staff told us that, hey, if we reduce the number of units to 250, then we would only need the one access point, and as long as we had the future stub outs. So that's what we did to be code compliant. We actually made a pretty big sacrifice to reduce the density, in order to get this one access point to work. So that's kind of where we're at today.
Yes, give this
If
question.
it meets code, then it meets code, but I'm going to go on the record that I think this is a public safety issue for the police department and fire department, and that's where I'll leave it then.
Yeah, and I have a question maybe kind of to satisfy with the fire department and the police department's concerns. Could you do 2 access points on the non-residential tract onto Kelly Park Road and then have like a cut across to kind of alleviate some of their concerns?
That's a possibility. So we're purchasing the townhome project right here. That all in the yellow is what we're purchasing with IMB Homes. The area in the red, the commercial area, is continuing ownership under Jim Gissy. So we're filing jointly together because it's a mixed use project, and Gissy doesn't have tenants or buyers for subparcels on the commercial area yet. So I think it's still at this point there could be some flexibility there on Kelly Park Road. I know we were running into, there had to be a certain amount of separation. I can't remember, 300, 400 feet or so. I can't remember between the two entrances. So at one point we had drawn in a road right beside Chandler Road where we were kind of expanding Chandler Road there, but then that involves still the HOA giving us rights because we were using part of Chandler Road and then building part of it next door. So it was creating a lot of problems. And that's why we thought it would be easier just to reduce the density and go to the one access point. So, I mean, we're open to any idea.
Let me just add that, if in fact, we certainly would have a driveway separation criteria that we would have to meet on Kelly Park Road. Even though Chandler Road is not a public right-of-way, it is a driveway. And I'm not sure what the code calls for. But if in fact we were to put a second access through that commercial parcel, then I would assume the city would be supporting the higher density which is allowed on this property. Is that correct?
In regards to the townhomes,
Yes.
if you wanted to increase your unit count, then yeah, it would meet that criteria.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a solution that police and fire would be agreeable to, about 2 points of access on the commercial to meet that criteria. Or it's something if you want to kind of sketch out and get back to us, we could look at something like that too.
Is there a agreement between y'all with the property owner to the north in the red to stub out onto their property and have that as an access later on?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Yes, that's the understanding there. And the current property owner to the north in the commercial area has approved the site plan.
Would they allow you a base through that property to a gate there possibly until they develop that parking lot? Is that a solution?
Like a stabilized surface of some
Like a
sort?
stabilized surface that the fire department can bring a fire truck in that way? I mean,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understand where this conversation is going, and we can go back to the seller to see if we could get a temporary stabilized access, second access off of Kelly Park Road, because we have provided a stub at the north end, just east of the cell tower.
right. And I don't, and by no means am I claiming to be an engineer by any means whatsoever, but I would think a stabilized surface would not hurt or be over expensive for them to compensate for when they came in to develop that.
And certainly we would anticipate some both vehicular, pedestrian, and bicycle connectivity from the commercial development to the residential development in the future. So we can maintain that ultimately as a parking drive. Now, it would not be a right-of-way. It would convert to a parking drive, but temporarily it would be an emergency access which supports the emergency equipment.
Because, I have a double-edged sword here. I don't like the density. I don't like the density as what it is, and I don't like the density of what it could be, because obviously we have to provide services for that, and it's becoming a struggle to provide public safety services the way the city is growing currently. So if we could work out something, I don't want to stop your development. I want to work with you, but at the same time, we have to be concerned about the people that are going to live in this subdivision after it's built out. So, if there was a gate there that didn't allow people to use the stabilized surface until such time as that parking lot, then the gate could be removed and the parking lot would suffice as the secondary entrance. I don't know if that's cost prohibitive because, again, I'm not an engineer or anything else. But to me, that would be something maybe amenable between everybody here to get what we would like to see at not a huge expense to the developer, and as long as you had the agreement, and it would just be access and maintained so that the fire truck could get down there. For most parts, our vehicles can get around most things. It's the fire trucks that can't
Yes, sir.
get around serious accidents and stuff.
Understood. I just want to, for the record, confer with staff that an emergency access would not create any code violations, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, we'll work
We have
with
them all
your
over the
staff.
place.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll work with your staff, and again, we would anticipate that emergency access would convert to a parking drive, which would be a paved parking drive through the commercial in the future. And that would be the solution for everyone temporarily and ultimately.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you working with us.
Any further questions of the applicant? You have any further questions for the DRC?
No, we are working with Orange County School Board, and we'll provide that school capacity letter to you.
Yeah, I can't take anything, the staff can't take any items forward for public hearings until we have that capacity determination.
Understood.
Public schools.
Well, they wouldn't accept an application until we submitted the zoning, so
All right.
cart before the
Oh,
horse.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
So what's the next step there? Because, you know,
All right.
Yeah, so you would make an application to Orange County Public Schools for capacity determination. Okay.
Next step here.
Okay. Respond to the comments. We'll come back to DRC, and if everything is resolved after the second submittal, you would be then scheduled for your public hearing, the Planning Commission, and then 2 readings before the City Council for the future land use and then the rezoning KPI master plan. All right.
Thank you. If there's no other questions, I
All right.
think we're satisfied. We'll be working with your staff. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Go around one more time. Community development, no items other than the comments that were generated. Police,
No, just again, thank you very much.
building,
I don't have anything, thanks.
and fire.
No comments.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the 1700 West Keene Road variance first submittal. I'm the project manager. The applicant is here in attendance. You did receive your comments from the Development Review Committee. Is there anything you would like to discuss?
Do we need to resubmit on the comments we received, or I didn't see anything there that really?
Yeah, most of them were pretty much informative. Plannings were informational.
Right.
Public hearing dates. I don't believe there were any from any other DRC members. I know you had some questions for Mr. Earp about the height of the wall and stuff like that.
Well, I just wanted to say we're asking for a height variance on the walls, and we had went and met with Mr. Earp. I'm sad that he's not here, but he had said as long as that we used a DOT approved wall, that he would be supportive of it, and we sent it to him, and he responded back favorably to what we were proposing. So I assume we're going to be scheduled for P&Z.
Yeah, and Windsor King from Public Services is here as well. Windsor, if you want to kind of do up and Windsor, can you just come to the mic so we can get it on the record? Yeah.
I was wondering.
Put you on the spot there. Yes.
All right, that's all right. Yes, Windsor King, Public Services Department, 748 East Cleveland Street. So essentially, Richard got back to you. Excuse me. Essentially, Richard got back to you and told you that the wall that you proposed, it was not acceptable.
No, he said that it was because it's DOT.
It was acceptable.
Yeah. It's a DOT approved wall system that we're proposing.
And so, what is the exact question then?
Oh, I just wanted to see if we were good to move forward to P&Z.
Yeah.
We don't really have any comments, so we're going forward hopefully with staff recommendation of approval. That's all we were kind of here today to kind of confirm and then see what date would be on P&Z.
Understood.
Primarily the main driver for this variance is public services because of the walls and stuff. It's really not a planning and zoning issue or type of issue. Brian, for the record, how tall is the wall going to be?
12 feet.
12 foot. Okay. All right. So if public services is good with that, we would schedule this for a upcoming planning commission meeting in July. I think the date's July 9th. And then the planning commission would either, they would consider whether or not there's a hardship, and then they would either approve with conditions, or deny. If the item is denied, it can be appealed to the city council. Okay. With that, we'll go around the DRC. Any further questions or comments? Police.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right. Building
I don't have anything, thanks.
and fire. All right. So,
Thank you very much. Have a
you're
great
welcome.
day.
Have a great day. Okay. The next item is Floridian Town Center multifamily Phase 1 Major Development Plan first submittal. I'm the project manager. This is a site plan for apartments that are located within the Floridian Town Center plan development that was approved back in about 2021. I believe the applicant's in attendance. You received comments from the Development Review Committee. You have any questions or comments in regards to that?
Good morning. Good morning. James Nugent with Donald McIntosh Associates. We're here representing the developer. Unfortunately, our planning compadre, Andrew McGowan, is not going to be able to be in attendance. He's out in PTO this week, so lucky for him. So I'm happy to answer because we did receive some partial comments. Bobby was kind enough to send those to us. The first on that side, the apartments won't be affected by the land use change. The PD that we submitted sets everything up for that. School concurrency, I believe, since the original design went through full construction plan approval, we probably have that. I'll need to research it and make sure that we can get the letter
Yes.
correspondence from Orange County Public Schools to you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Understand on the informational about the police officers that are going to be necessary. We're adding people, so you need to be able to add people too, right? So I don't know. Are there more comments coming from other departments?
These were all that were given.
Okay.
Did Public Services have any no comments from Public Services? So it sounds like this was it.
Okay, so we'll get a response put
All right.
together and get those in. We're very anxious to move forward with this because we are probably 99% on our construction site plans ready to submit, and the developer is very anxious to move forward. So,
All right. Yeah.
but we'll get our responses put together. Thank you very much for
Absolutely.
sending these,
Mhm.
and we'll get the responses working up.
And just as an informational item, the threshold, the unit threshold is over 25. So this has to go to Planning Commission and then City Council for approval.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you all very much. It was my first visit here
Yeah.
to Apopka
Welcome.
DRC.
Yes,
Thank you
absolutely.
for the kind
You're
welcome.
very welcome.
Thank
All right.
you.
Y'all have a great
You
day.
too. All right. Community Development has no other comments other than those that were generated. Police,
I don't have anything. Thank you.
building,
I don't have anything, thanks.
and fire.
No comments.
All right. Okay, the next two items are Bronson Peak Phase 2B and 2A plats. First submittal and second submittal. Gene's project manager.
Bobby, this is the plats 2A or 2, no, I'm sorry. 2A has been seen by DRC and 2B is kind of a first submittal. I haven't received comments from either our city surveyor and our legal counsel just yet. And DRC members didn't have any comments on the plat.
Right. Excuse me. With that, we'll go around. Community Development has no other questions or comments. Police,
I don't have anything. Thank you.
building,
I don't have anything, thanks.
and fire.
No comments.
All right. The next item is 2A, second submittal, and Gene's project manager.
It's the same for this. This is kind of part of the phasing plan for Bronson Peak. This is the Lennar part of the ridge, so it's south of Boy Scout Road. And I had no comments from DRC. I'm awaiting comments on city's surveyor and legal counsel as well.
We'll go around. Community Development has no other questions or comments. Police,
I know we've seen this a few times. I just want to make sure that the alley that's depicted on this drawing has lighting to it. I know this project's been going on for a long time, but the alleyway should have lighting in it. So if we could just follow up and make sure of that.
I'll ask the applicant. I'm trying to remember their CSP. I think it was lit. The ordinance was out at the time. I'll get with Chuck and see what the lighting was, and I'll double check our lighting plan as well.
Okay, thank you.
Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
Fire.
No comments.
All right. Next item is an extension request, Advent Health Fudge Road Complex. Gene.
Bobby, this is an extension request. Actually, just give me a minute. I think you all, some of you may recall the Advent Health Fudge Road construction site plan. The CSP was for phase one, and the major development plan for the entire project was approved. The phase one CSP was also approved at the time. If I recall correctly, the both MDP and CSP expired, I think, in 2023 or 2020. Yes, it was 2023. And the applicant is requesting an extension of the development order based on the governor's declaration of the state of emergency from hurricanes as well as COVID. The request is actually attached to the item agenda if y'all have had a chance to read it. So it is based on more than one declaration. And essentially, this is kind of a formality. But keep in mind that if we extend this, I think the most we can extend is a year at a time. It technically doesn't count against our code time frame. They can request again when that state of emergency expires. So they'll be extended for a year, and then they have an opportunity within that year to have an extension again based on our land development code.
Are we putting something in writing that states that it's extended for 1 year and that's it?
We sent them an extension letter approval.
And it had 1 year from the date of approval.
It will state it, yeah, the time frame, the date and stuff, when the next expiration would be.
Right. As long as we've established some kind of timeline.
All right. The applicant's here in attendance. Do you have any questions or comments for the DRC?
Yeah. Just to clarify a little bit.
Morning, John Towns with Macintosh Associates. Happy to be here. So, just a little background. The plans were approved back in 2020. They were extended with the 1 year, and then they're now looking to move forward in a hurry with actually a little modification. We had that meeting to talk about. That was so. It's all about time frames. We try not to go back to the MDP again because what we're changing is not really relevant. So we want to amend the approval, but we got to make sure the approval is extended. So I'm just kind of giving that as a backdrop. As long as we get an extension, whether it's a year or it meets the statute requirement. The statute is actually 2 years plus the length of the emergency, which right now is at 588 days, unless the governor extends it again on June 17th. So technically, it's up to 4 years. But listen, I get a year. They're going to want to build this thing ASAP, so it's coming back at you. So just wanted to clarify that.
No, and that's fine. I just, for both parties, there needs to be
some letter that comes in and
date. I mean, otherwise we just go on into
correct
the future and nobody's got a drop dead date of something's got to be done here.
Well, if I don't write the letter after the emergency order has been stayed, so once the emergency order is over, I have to write a letter within 90 days requesting the extension. Otherwise, it just evaporates. So we'll do that formally as a backup, but I'd like to get a letter to extend it so we have it in place if possible. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Further questions for the applicant?
I have no question. My only thing regarding this is the fact that I wasn't in an office at the time of the plans being signed. So being able to review these plans is something I want to oversee. So I want to be considerate looking at that. Right now I'm blindfolded to what it is that was done, signed, and approved. I'm clueless to what was done.
Well, we will be sending in a plan revision, so you'll get a full chance to review it. And I'm sure we'll go through DRC again because we're modifying the building inside the building footprint that was there, and we have to update the utilities based on some conversations we've had with Public Works.
So you will see it. It'll show all the access. It's the same way you see it now. Just the phasing will change a little bit, but that's it. But yes, you'll get a full chance before we go into construction.
All right, thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll go around. Community development is in favor of the extension. Police,
I'm good, thank you.
okay. Building
I'm good with it, thanks.
and fire.
No comments.
All right. Any items for discussion?
I can think of something if you want me to, John. I mean,
I was just thinking something might just pop right off the top of your head.
Yeah.
nope, I'm good today.
All right, we're adjourned.